And now I'm going to show you guys how to take pictures of my beautiful model, Milana. Say hi.
Hi.
Okay, so first of all, you want to set her up behind a ring light or whatever light you do decide to use for good lighting. And you want to make sure that the background is just one plain color. You don't want to have any curtains or shelves, bookshelves, because it's going to be a distraction to your client. Now that I have her all set up, I want to make sure that my ring light is at a proper distance. I don't want it to be too close. I'm just going to show you guys an example. Okay, this is very bright. So when it's too close, what ends up happening is, you see, kind of creates like a weird shadow in her eye. Obviously, the further away you are, it's gonna look darker. So you do need to kind of play around with the lighting that you have. Sometimes, obviously, you can dim it if you need to. See how this is too dark. This might be a little bit too bright. I'm happy with this lighting. Also, another thing that I like to do is make sure, she's very, very tall. She's like double my size. But what you need to do is adjust the height of the lighting. So if your client is short and your ring light is too high, it's gonna cast a shadow over your client. You can't see really well because Milana doesn't have eyelash extensions, but if she was wearing eyelash extensions, that would be a huge no-no. So as you can see, I am lowering the ring light right now, and the light is right in front of her face, almost a little teeny tiny bit under her actually. So there you go. Now that I'm happy, I'm going to use different angles to take pictures. So right now she doesn't have any lashes on, she doesn't have any extensions. We are actually doing a lash lift on her. So I want to make sure that I take good before pictures. So I'm happy with the lighting, maybe just a little bit brighter. There you go, I'm happy with it. Now, my feedback on this picture, for example, is her head is a little bit crooked. So what I like to do is I like to tell them exactly, there you go, perfect. So you wanna make sure that their head is straight. And another thing that you like to do, and this is like a little tip for before pictures, make sure your clients don't look too happy. Because oftentimes you end up doing their lashes, and by the time you're finished, they're tired. So they end up looking more miserable with lashes than they did before lashes. So try to tell her to look a little bit miserable just because it's a before picture. But it's the truth. Okay, so these are the few angles that I do like to take. So this would be angle number 1 in front of her. Then angle number 2 would be on the side. So I'm gonna tell her to keep on looking straight as if I was still in front of her. And as she's looking straight, I'm just going to move to the side and I'm going to get a little bit closer like this. If you do want to see a difference and a contrast to her lashes, another thing I do recommend is telling them to tuck their hair behind the ear. So Milana, the other side actually. Okay. Yeah, just so we can see a little bit of a wall. Okay, so you see the difference? Right now, if she was wearing extensions or even if she got a lash lift, you'd be able to see that there's a much bigger lash lift. For before pictures, you always want to make sure that you are taking the same angles of the pictures for your before and after pictures. So you don't want to take one picture like this, like a before picture, and then your after picture is like that. It's not going to match. So I'm going to use her nose as a memory point, and I'm going to turn her like this, and I'm going to see that there's just a little bit of a mark between her nose and her cheek. So whenever I come back to take her after photo, she is placed at a same angle. So this would be my one angle, because there's always one picture, one side that's better than the other. So this would be my one angle from this side, and then I would rotate and take the same picture from this side. And again, if her hair is in the way, I would recommend tucking it behind her ears. Another thing that you can do is sometimes when their light is straight in front of them, there's a little bit of a shadow right over here. As you can see, this part of her face. In that case, I like using my RGB video ring lights, and I like to put it right on the side of her face like this. So this is before the video light, and this is after the video light. You see what a difference it makes? Boom. So when your client lays down, you want to take before pictures before you start doing your work. Right now, the way my setup is, I have a ring light right over my model over here. The only problem is it's not evenly distributed, the light. As you can see, there's a little bit of a shadow going on over here. There's two things that you can do. You can physically move your light a little bit to the side. You can either hold it by yourself, which is really hard, or you can ask the model to help you to hold it, or you can use the RGB video light again and fill in all those shadows from the side. Also, if you feel like her forehead has a little bit more shadows, again, you can move the light in that area until you are happy. Every client will be different, every complexion is different, so you are going to have to adjust your setup and your lighting according to your client and their needs. When you are taking pictures and videos from this angle, there's two things that you want to do. You want to make sure that you have proper lighting on the side. You want to make sure that nothing is in the background. You don't want to see cabinets or my phone on a chair or anything like that. So take pictures which will not only complement your work but look clean. So as you can see, this is good. Another thing I like to do is I like to guide them with my finger. I usually put my finger right in front of them like this, and I tell them, look at my finger, and then I guide them where I want them to look. So if their eye is a little bit too down, then I will guide them a little bit up, and I say, stay there, and then that's when I return to my camera and I take pictures with proper lighting of my model. If you are doing before and after pictures, again, you want to make sure that their hair is tucked on the side over here so you can see the lashes properly, especially when you're coming to take pictures from this angle. Again, memorize the distance between the cheek and the nose so that way you can replicate the angle for your after pictures. So either from here or here. Cheek distance is usually how I assess my before and after pictures. In this case, I'm happy with this picture and also a little bit close up that picture. When you take pictures from this angle, make sure that you don't take pictures from here on because it will not complement your work, and make sure you don't take pictures from here on because the only thing your audience will be able to focus on is your client's nose. So I recommend as soon as the lips start appearing like this. This is an angle which will not only complement your work, but also your client. So this is an angle that I love working with. And then I like stepping a little bit to the side, and I think this angle is really, really, really beautiful. Again, add a little bit more lighting just so you can see your work better. And then I like to move to the other side in case this side looks better for my work. And then I take more pictures on this side. Let's do some lash lifts. So this is the finished result. So before I begin taking any pictures, I actually cleaned up my station beside her, both on the left and the right hand side, to make sure that there's nothing inside, especially after a tint. There's so much tint residue, Q-tips, applicators, and so on. And now I'm gonna angle myself in the same angle as the before picture. So remember, just a little bit distance between her cheek and her nose. And then I'm gonna give her the light. Now, I remember that her eye position, her eyes weren't as low as they are now. So I'm gonna tell her to look at my finger. There you go. So stay there. You see the difference? Follow me. You see the difference as if you took pictures with her eyes looking there and her eyes looking there? Makes a big difference on your work. So stay there, and I'm just gonna go around in different angles. So I'm gonna be taking pictures from here. I'm gonna come really, really close so I can take pictures from there. Come in from the side and take pictures of the lift from the side as well. This is a good angle. Now, I don't like my background, so I would normally take this angle at the wall, but this is basically the angles that I would do when her eyes are closed. If she had a lash lift, when her eyes are closed, I don't feel like you see much of a lash lift, so I don't usually take pictures when her eyes are closed with the lash lift. But if she had extensions on, I would definitely take pictures with her eyes closed. Another good angle that you can do is I usually lean over the bed. I come right in the middle of her and I tell her to look directly in the camera, and I will take pictures from there. And if she has extensions on, another good angle is a little bit behind her like this. If you tell her to look directly in the camera, look in the camera. You see that? Even for a lift. Wow, that's a gorgeous angle. So yeah, just play around, move the camera around until you find pictures that work for you, angles that work for you. And always remember, move the light. See, this is a really pretty angle, but without a light, it's not. And you can only edit pictures so much if your lighting isn't good. You definitely need a good canvas to work with when it comes down to editing. And by that, I mean picture and lighting effects. Before lighting, after lighting. So now we're gonna take after pictures of my model. She is a little bit taller than me, so what I did is I got a little bit of a ladder to climb up. So these would be your after pictures, and then you can also come in closer and take a picture of each eye with a close-up. And then if you want your before and after pictures, just go in the same angles you were before and make sure you replicate everything you did before. So when I was on my right side, I asked her to tuck the hair on her right side behind her ear. That's it. And then you can take both eyes, or you can only take one eye like that. And the same for the other side. So just flip the hair. There you go, perfect. Just remember the angles, the distance from her cheek and her nose, that it's the same. And also make sure that you don't have any lighting issues as she has right now on her cheek. So I would add a little bit more lighting on that side. And close up. And that's it.